I want to discuss how being a housewife or house husband could be a form of emancipation for some people. Okay? Now, in a 1940s film called Killer Bait or Too Late for Tears, a female character who is unmarried and has a paid job says that she's hopeful she will get a raise. The other female character who is married and a full-time housewife says, "You sound like you're planning to make a career out of it." And then the other woman says, "You sound like you haven't heard about the man shortage." Okay. And the thing that's interesting is that there's assumption here that the man would be the breadwinner and the wife would manage the home. And there was also the assumption that it was preferable to not have to work outside the home. Now, I actually have a couple of cases that illustrate why this could be so, and oddly enough, they both involve men. Okay, my late best friend worked for many years at a carpet cleaning company in the office. Okay, and his job was basically taking orders, incoming calls, and sometimes taking complaints. But whatever, he was taking incoming calls, and he was also doing certain paperwork as far as filing. And he also told me that the incoming calls always took preference over the paperwork. Okay, one day they changed the job. Everybody in that little boiler room was discharged except for him. And the nature of his job was changed. Instead of taking incoming calls and filing, he was doing cold calling of telephone soliciting for the company. Just calling and calling and calling and giving and reciting a spiel, asking if somebody wants the carpet cleaned. He could make 200, 300 calls a day, and he was lucky if 1 to 3 people took it. So that's a lot of phone calls. And he said he really did not like the job. He really hated it when they changed. I mean, he was okay with it before that, but when they changed it to telephone soliciting, he hated it. And one day, he had a meltdown. I think it was all those calls. And he told me that the only thing he felt was relief. When somebody would take the call, take the service, he felt relief. But he never felt anything really positive about it. And one day he actually burst into tears. And I think what got to him was just the routine nature of call after call after call after call and nobody taking the service. Okay, my brother had been a cook for many years. He was a cook in an expensive steak restaurant. He's also a vegetarian. And he had to handle meat all day. He didn't like his job. He never liked it at all. Okay, and anyway, because of COVID, they had to basically shut the restaurant down. Okay, so he was laid off. And he has been much happier now that he's not a cook, that he doesn't have a regular paid job. He's been much, much happier. He's basically living on Social Security. And it's actually a relief to him because he never liked his job. He's able to devote his time to research and writing, which he couldn't when he had a paid job. Okay. Now, similarly, for women or men who don't like their jobs, being a full-time homemaker can be a blessed relief. For one thing, if you knock out you can do this chore and that chore, there's a little bit of variation in a housewife's job description. Okay, you go from one chore to another. In addition, you don't generally have somebody, over you, constantly, nagging you about it. But anyway, I just want to get it out there that, there's nothing necessarily wrong with being a housewife or being a house husband, and there can be a lot that is right about it. And for some people, it could be a kind of liberation to not have to do, the 9 to 5 thing. Hope you liked hearing that. Well, subscribe and tell other people about me, okay?